Well, hello, Kim.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm looking forward to us not having a ton of things going on with regards to COVID. I'm looking forward to COVID being behind us, and yeah,
Yeah.
things are getting a little busier.
Yes. Yep. Things are starting to pick up. I am.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
a little bit more active out in the networking community, and yeah, all is good.
All is good. All right. Well, let's just jump in.
Okay.
And thank you for tuning in today. Our mission is to equip and empower you to dig in and soar higher, doing the things that you love. So get ready to live life fully.
So, who am I? I am Joy Norman. I am passionate about helping women achieve their God given purpose and destiny. And I am a author, I'm a motivational speaker, an empowerment and success coach. So I am going to be talking to my fierce female entrepreneurs on our YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel and to the ladies in our Facebook group. So I'll be talking to both groups today at the same time. And so welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am so happy and excited about our topic today, why visual marketing matters. And so let's start with you briefly tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm originally from Indiana, so I'm a Hoosier. And I moved out here in 1998 out to California on a military tour. And in 2008, I retired out of the military and I went back to kind of what I knew best, which was photography. I've been photographing since I was small child and got serious about it when I was in high school. Like many photographers, they kind of get on the yearbook staff and kind of do their thing. And I followed the same trend as many. I went to college for photography, got a bachelor's of fine arts in photography. Then I joined the military as a combat photographer, although I didn't stay in that area very long because I got commissioned as an officer and then was in charge of the photographers. So and then after I retired out of the military, I went and got my master's degree and focused on visual marketing. My goal is I always have enjoyed small business owners as far as, I love helping them and kind of assisting them in their marketing. And so I figured with a master's in visual marketing with my MBA and my photography background that it was a good combination. And so now that's what I do. I primarily focus on small business professionals and business owners and help them with their visual marketing needs.
Oh, okay. Now, wait a minute. We got to go back to that Indiana.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm from Michigan.
Oh.
So I'm a Spartan and I say 50% Spartan, 50% Wolverine.
Okay. I'm 100% Hoosier.
Only because my family is like half and half. So.
Yeah, well, that's because of the college. For me, it's more Ball State Cardinals. I went to Ball State, so I guess I'm a Cardinal in that regard. But yeah, so I'm proud to say I'm a Hoosier. I think the best compliment I ever got was I was talking to a gentleman who had just graduated from Purdue, and he said, I've never been to a state or an area that's been so hospitable. And he said, people will hold the door open for you, even if they see you coming from way in the parking lot,
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's right.
Yeah.
There's something about Hoosier hospitality. So I had to be a part of that. I just spent 2 weeks there. That's why I couldn't do this any sooner than today.
Yeah.
I just spent 2 weeks back there, and I must say I truly do enjoy Indiana, but when I landed, and it was almost 70 degrees. And I just left literally days, and within that 2 weeks, there was one day that it was literally rain, sleet, and snow.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's just a reminder as to why I moved to California. And I'm thankful that I decided, me and my family decided to make this our home.
Yeah. You know what I never mastered is, and my husband and I were just talking about this today, is I never really learned how to drive in the snow.
Oh, I will tell you that it's pretty funny because my sister, whenever I go back, I stay at my sister and brother-in-law's, and she's kind enough to allow me to, borrow her car. And so as I was getting ready to leave one evening, she's like, Kim, do you remember how to drive on ice? And I was like, yes, I still remember. But anyway, so I love it here in the greater Sacramento area because the reality is we can visit snow. But we don't have to shovel it. And,
oh, I like that. That's going to have to be my motto.
and for that, I will be very thankful for living. I am very thankful for living here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Plus, I love the sun, and you just don't get that as much back there. And I don't miss the humidity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Someone once told me that the difference between here and there is like the dishwasher and the oven. Here's like opening up the oven, and back there's like opening up the dishwasher.
I like that one because I used to say it's good for your skin, but bad for your hair.
Yeah, isn't that true? Oh, that's so true.
Because I loved all the humidity, for your skin, but man,
oh, yeah.
your hairdo would be all messy.
That would not be a good thing. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And speaking of, that's a good transition for taking pictures for my next question. How long have you been taking photographs?
Well, literally, I started when I was a small child. My father would always hand me the camera for holidays. And and then through his encouragement, when I got to high school and still was very interested in it, he bought me my first camera. And I've been taking pictures ever since.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So over 40 years.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's, but these little things have really, well, I don't know if you can see that with that blurred screen.
Cell phones.
Yeah, these little things have really taken technology to a whole new level.
So what would you say is your specialty?
I specialize in portraits, primarily headshots for professionals and staff of businesses. Every now and then I'll take some family portraits or get asked to take some pet portraits. But my specialty as far as marketing goes, I market for headshots, real estate photography. I'm also a realtor and investor. So I love, real estate photography is a wonderful area that I enjoy. And I also am a Google certified trusted photographer, which allows me the opportunity to help businesses with their see inside tours.
Okay.
So if you've ever gone to Google Maps and you've seen a business and you clicked on it and you did the little walkthrough, that's called Street View for businesses. And so that helps people. Google will never tell you as to how they get the search engine optimization up higher for a business, but they will tell you the more toys that you play with that are Google related, the higher up you are. Every marketing expert I've ever talked to says, just try to get your Google business page going. Make sure you have a Google tour if you have a brick and mortar, and just make sure you update your photographs on your Google my business page, and then make sure that you collect reviews. So for me, I fit two of those marks, right? I can help people get their photographs, nice, professional, good imagery of their business and services. And I can help them with their street tour because you have to have or they highly recommend a Google trusted photographer to do those tours. So, but that's what I do.
Okay, I was wondering what a Google trusted photographer was.
Yep.
You just dropped some nuggets on me already. Look at that.
There you go. That's my job.
We're going to learn a lot today, people. So, Kim, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So why does visual marketing matter? And why do we need to update the photographs that we use?
Well, it's kind of like clothing, right? People say you need to change your attire from time to time. You don't want to look dated, right? It's the same thing with photographs, even more so. Oftentimes visual marketing is really all you have. Even buying houses right now, what can you imagine what the number one source of buying a house as far as seeing the listing? Is it an iPad, a phone, or is it a computer? It's a phone, right?
Yeah.
So, and everything's visual on that phone. So you want to make sure that you've got those images that are up to date, that look like they are professional photographs, even if they're not. Make sure that they look like they are. And that's how people are being seen, so that visual marketing is basically anything that is a photograph, a video, or any of those elements that help brand you, that help spread the word about your and provide the value of your business and service, your products and services. So it could be photographs on flyers, it could be your online listings on Google, it could be your website. All of that is visual marketing. So, what we're doing right here, a video, it's visual marketing. Yeah. So you want to get those things looking as sharp as you possibly can. And I don't mean by focus, I mean just everything. Focus, the environment they're provided in, as far as the background. You've taken a lot of time to do your background today, right? And that's visual marketing.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. So, if we were on this video and those were all old photographs, or they no longer represented your business, then, it's not doing you near as much good as it could. And it could be falsifying what your business truly is. A lot of times you'll find businesses that will rotate their inventory, but they never change their photographs. And then people walk in the door looking for item B when you've had that forever.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit too. I like people should update their photographs so that
headshots. Please, I beg you, if you have a photograph on your business card or on your website that people could not ID you in a coffee shop, that they looked at your picture and you were going to meet them there and they wouldn't have any clue who you were. Just if they can't ID you by your headshot in a coffee shop, then it's time to get a new one. For the most part, most people will tell you every 3 years. Every 3 years, we change enough to be able to warrant a new headshot. Okay. And in saying that, that there's a few things that could happen that you may want to do it sooner. So hairstyle or color, beard or mustache, glasses, no glasses. Those are all things that people will just want to keep top of mind and look at their headshot, every year. Kind of make it, and I always kind of jokingly say, check it when you check your batteries in your smoke alarm. Okay. How's your headshot doing? Is it working for you? If it's not, a lot of people hold on to them because they looked a lot better 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Well, yeah.
That's what, I'm guilty. We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of that. We want to hold on to those forever. That's like looking at an obituary and seeing them from, back in their 20s and, they're in 82, and you're like, well, that's a nice picture back then, but I can't ID you today. Right. So we really need to make sure that you have up-to-date headshots, not only for you, but your entire staff. Okay. I recommend people, even if you're a solo entrepreneur, if that's the case, you still have people that assist you in doing things. So like I have an editing team, and there's three people on my team that edit photographs. Even though they're not full-time employees, they're still a member of my team. So get those. Also, I highly recommend that you, if you're going to put them on your website, then tell a little bit about those individuals. It might be a picture of, let's say that you worked, like I work with a chiropractor team. And I told them, I said, when you put your picture up, don't just put what your qualifications are to have the job, but tell them something next to your bio, like a 3 or 4 sentence bio as to what, how that person's credentials coincide with their position, but also put in there what they enjoy doing in life. Because for me, when I walk into a business, and I'm not unlike many, when I walk into a business, I want to be able to connect with them.
Yeah.
And so I need to be able to somehow find a way to link that. And so if I've just read that Yvonne is, let's say she enjoys kayaking, or maybe she's a cyclist, right? And those are things that I can connect with. And so when I walk in, I'm like, yeah, Yvonne, I saw that you kayak. So where'd you last kayak, or do you cycle? Do you use American River Trail, or do you cycle on a team? I mean, it's an opportunity to connect.
Yeah. Good conversation starter. Yeah.
Well, because we do business with people we know and like, right? Know and like and trust. Yeah. And so if we can find something that, kind of connects us, then we'll have far more of an opportunity to keep that client, because we've got a connection.
Yeah. It doesn't have to break the bank.
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I always recommend that people, well, first of all, if you can't afford a professional photographer to come in and take them, then at least sharpen your skills with your cell phone and get some nice portraits. I mean, most cell phones nowadays have a portrait mode. Learn how to use it. Learn how to use it. There are photographers like myself that you can pay an hourly rate to come in and teach your staff.
Cell phones are good enough?
Cell phones can be good enough.
Oh.
Cell phones have come a long way.
Okay.
So, I mean, it depends on what you're photographing, right? But I mean, if you're photographing staff, and like I have a business program with for my studio. So let's say that you had 3 or 4 people on your staff and you were expanding. I will take each one of their pictures with the same background, which is really important. If you're going to post them online, you want them to be consistent and look professional. So they come to the studio, I take their photograph, and then I group them into a team image. And so that's not something that the everyday person can do. Oh, so wow. That kind of sets me apart from the others. So it looks like they have a team, when you click on their team, you see a picture of literally all 6 of them. And those were taken individually, but made into a composite. So it looks like it was taken at one time. And then I have each of their headshots. So that's what professionals can do for you. However, if you can't afford that, then I recommend that you take nice head and shoulder shots of each of your staff, make the background consistent across, so that everybody's on the same, using the same background. Maybe you find a wall, or you find something that looks good. Maybe it's outside, but keep in mind, if you go outside, the weather changes.
Right.
You hire somebody in January, it's not going to look the same as July.
Yeah.
So figure out, keep the background consistent, get some nice imagery, and showcase your staff members, showcase your products, your services, get some interaction type pictures. I just got hired not that long ago to take photographs of a cleaning crew. They clean houses and offices, but they wanted pictures of them cleaning. Right. For the what? Because that's a service. Make sure that you're photographing those things. That's what visual marketing will do for you. You get those on business cards and flyers and your website, and create videos. That's kind of what it's all about right now. And then if you have a brick and mortar, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get a Google See Inside tour. They call them street view for businesses now. It's all the same. You get to it through your Google My Business page, but hire a photographer, a Google trusted photographer that can get that tour up for you. And you don't have to change that very often. I seldom do have to go back and retake another business. And I mean retake, I mean update.
Yeah.
So let me think of some examples. When have I had to do that? Oh, remodel. is about the only time. Here in the Sacramento area, there's a place called California Outdoors. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. There's one in Roseville and there's one in Gold River. And they have businesses that at Christmas, they turn into a holiday shop. And during the nice months of the year, they are all about outdoor furniture. So they may want to change their tour more frequently because of how they change their store. But for the most part, it's a one and done. You get the see inside tour. It's just to give people a glimpse as to what that business looks like on the inside, as well as just outside the door to help people find their business. Because if I know you're next to Rayleigh's grocery store, then when I get there, it's not such a surprise in trying to find you. I'm like, oh, that's right. They're right next to Rayleigh's.
Yeah.
So that's what the Street View is all about.
Okay. So you do in studio and on location?
I do.
Oh.
I do. So
okay. Is it okay? You charge more to go on location?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. But in your studio, you have different backdrops and you can make it look like you're at different places too, huh?
Yeah. So it's a typical studio portrait photography.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, how do you think each person should match their personality?
I'll put it this way. I can't quite imagine taking an overly serious photograph of you. I think that just would not, exactly, that would not match your style. When I take photographs or portraits specifically for businesses and individuals, I really try to work on what's going to be the most client friendly. So what's the most approachable photograph that we can take that's going to truly bring your true self out in that image? And I think anyone who's had their portrait taken from me knows that when they come in, we do kind of a face study first. We have them faced left and right and different levels of smiles. And it helps me and it helps them, because a lot of people will tell you, I'll ask, so what side of the face do you like? And they'll be like, I like my left. I'm like, okay, great. So we're going to photograph both. And then we're going to take different levels of smiles. And then we're just going to have some fun. And we're going to go over here and come back here and take a look at them. And then you're going to decide which one you like. And I would say 9 out of 10 times they pick the wrong side. And so I always tell them, all right, so now you know when the group picture comes and your friends are all getting together, you know what side to run to. Because you know what side to go to get, to have your photograph taken. And then the other thing I always tell people is when you're trying to figure out what to wear, put it on and take some selfies. Don't come to the studio with clothes that you're not sure you look good in. We can look in the mirror and it always looks different than a picture. So take some selfies. Do you like yourself in that picture? Do you like yourself in that shirt? Do you prefer a different color? That helps you get a general idea as to what's going to look good when you get to the studio. Then I can help you from there.
Okay.
So the other thing I always tell people is drink lots and lots of water before a portrait. Get lots of rest, and days before the portrait, make sure you're very hydrated because it helps your skin. And that's very important in a portrait, especially a headshot, because we're only looking for shoulder up.
Right. So since the pandemic, I bet digital impressions have been so important because we're not, in person anymore. I would think too, your business probably picked up during the pandemic.
Actually, it didn't.
Oh, it didn't. Okay.
I took the hit like most. And the reason I did, there are certain businesses that, like, as soon as we got shut down, my phone wouldn't stop ringing there for like the first week and a half. And that was because a lot of the showrooms needed to get imagery of their showroom so that they could then showcase it to their clients who couldn't come through the door. So that was It was busy initially, but then after that, people didn't want to get portraits because they couldn't get haircuts. And we're in a seller's market, which means there's not nearly as many houses available to photograph.
That makes sense.
However, the ones I did take, they ordered like the largest of the packages because people couldn't get out to see the houses. So they were literally leaning on tours and videos and walkthrough videos and dollhouse diagrams and everything else to try to get those homes sold. So, but yeah, it slowed down, but it's picking back up.
Okay, it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. So
Yeah.
something I wanted to tell you, I used to be a poser.
Oh, really?
Yes, I used
That's
to
awesome.
be a poser. Yep, I worked for a photographer about 25 years ago, and I followed him around to local schools in the area, and I helped him with the children, make sure they were sitting up.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea how important that job is. I photograph for a few schools locally who are just smaller schools. And so I take their kids, their student pictures for the yearbook, and then, sell them to their parents as well. And I'll tell you what, without a poser, I can't fathom doing that. I just can't imagine. It's so important. That's a very important job in my career. So good for you. And it takes someone with a lot of patience, because you get those little kids,
Yeah.
all they want to do is swirl around in their chair and play.
Yeah.
Which way, I mean, that's part of the fun as a photographer is watching some of that. I mean, they're fun.
Yeah, it is. Well, I have experience if you need me.
Well, there you go. I'm telling you, that's an important position. That's a skill set. That's a skill set.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You make our jobs far easier. I can't imagine taking them without you. So.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to mention, I was looking at, and I wrote down something. Consumers only retain 20% of what they read, and they retain 80% of the visuals they see.
Yep, that is true. That is true. And that's why visual marketing is so important. People are lazy. Let's just be real. I'm lazy. We don't want to read. We just want to look at something and say, yep, that's what I want. And that's Amazon. Think of Amazon when you go shopping, right? Yeah. I mean, it's all about if they have really not so great photographs, you'll probably go down to the one below it and pay a little bit more money because it's very clear as to what you're getting.
That's so true. Yeah. Yes. I know I'm a visual learner.
Oh, most of us are, or at least we have a large percentage of learning that's in the visual arena.
Yeah. Yeah. And so another thing I looked and I found was people judge others based on first impressions. And then according to the latest research, first impressions are created in just 1/10 of a second.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? But it's so true. And that's why headshots are so important, to get them. I mean, if you're good with a cell phone, then use it. Just be good at it. One of the things that kind of makes me cringe is when I go through like Zillow. You go through Zillow and you'll see a house, and as you look through the pictures, you're like, oh my gosh, who took these pictures? Some are vertical, some are horizontal, some are crooked, some, there's like no, I mean, if you're going to get that much money for a house, hire a professional to photograph it, right? And it's the same thing. If you want to look good, then make sure that your imagery represents that. Make sure that you have nice headshots. Make sure that you have good photographs of your products and services.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, not everybody likes photographs. Some people want a video. Some people want it, they feel like it's more real.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to really kind of play on what people are looking at. You know, some people want video, some people want pictures, some people want a tour that they can guide themselves, not have the video portion of it. They want to like tap on it and go room to room, right? So it's the same thing with a business. Make sure that when you're doing your visual marketing, make sure that you have a menu for everybody. You have something on that menu for everyone. So like some people still like cardboard business cards. Other people want it to be an electronic business card that they just text you. Right. So make sure that when you're thinking through the process of visual marketing, that you're doing something for everybody. Because there's still a lot of people that want paper.
Yeah. Wow. That's true. Yeah. Some of us are still old school.
Some of us are still old school.
I like a combination of both. Yeah, I still like both.
Yeah,
as you see, I still get banners and stuff sent to my studio, and and then I have digital stuff on my website. So I still like both.
Yeah, well, and I think you need both, because some people, they still have that Rolodex of business cards.
Yeah.
There's others like myself who just put business cards in a basket, right?
Yeah, look, I still got all mine.
So but there's other people who, they're into the tech, right? So can you text me your business card? If you don't have it digitally, then probably something to consider.
Yeah. You're right. It's best to do both, which brings me to another question then. So do you offer training?
I do. I don't do so much training on DSLR or the digital format, cameras. I don't do so much training on that as I do cell phone photography nowadays.
Okay.
I used to do training for real estate photographers.
Oh, wow.
And that way I could help them get better images, of their own listings, realtors or others who are in the investment arena. But nowadays I primarily focus on cell phone photography, and help individuals and businesses with their visual marketing that way. I have an hourly rate that I can come out and train your team. And depending on how many people's in that team will depend on how many hours you probably want to book me, but I'll show you the ins and outs of the cell phones and try to help you come up with kind of a pattern, with regards. Let's say that you're into jewelry. We want to make sure that your jewelry stays consistent with regards to how you photograph it, because that matters. If you're like, I photograph for JJ Pfister sometimes wants their bottles, which is a distillery in Rancho Cordova. Sometimes they want their bottles up on the bar with the bar as the background. Other times they want it on a high key white. So, but staying consistent so that high key white remains the same color for image after image after image is important. So, but I come out and I teach you how to take photographs of your products, your services, and your team, using your cell phones.
Okay, you like the whole package.
It matters, and I used to tell people when I was really taking a lot of portraits of families, and they would have a newborn, I'd say, make sure you get the special dates, right? So make sure that you get, when they're in preschool, when they get in kindergarten, and then through your grades. But then at some point, when it comes to a family portrait, you kind of skip. Like, so you want to try to get their pictures when they're in 6th grade, right? And then you want to get them maybe when they're a freshman, and then you want to get them before they get, as they start to get out of high school as a senior, and then after they graduate college, right? So those are the time periods. You don't need a professional portrait every single year, but you do want to get the highlights of one, because we change so much as a child, you know. So I always told him, I said, you don't need me as a professional every single year, but there are times you're going to need me. right? So don't forget, these are the highlights of one's life as far as a teen, a child and a teen. And so these are the times we recommend. Well, it's the same thing with business photography. If you own a bar, you don't need me there every week photographing stuff at your bar. But if you are going to promote live music, you may need me there for some images and then use those throughout. And I could teach you how to photograph some of those, right? I'm trying to think of some other examples. If you can get a good process of taking staff pictures through your cell phone, great. But just make sure it looks good. I mean, there's a difference between taking a cell phone picture and taking a cell phone portrait.
Yeah.
Figure out how to take the portrait, and then you've got the key. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
But I may need you to follow me around.
Depends on what the job is, but I've always got a recommendation. So whether I'm there or not, I can always assist you in one way or another. Always.
Yeah, that's really good. What photographs do you recommend a business owner obtain?
Photographs of their team, so their staff members, their products, their services, and if they're a brick and mortar, a Google See Inside or Street View tour.
Awesome.
Those are the most recommended for small businesses.
Okay. Now you said you train on how to get the best use out of our cell phone?
Absolutely. I can assist businesses in being able to take better cell phone photographs and help them with their visual marketing.
Oh, okay. All right. Sign me up for that one.
Absolutely.
Yes. I learned a lot with the phone, and I do pretty good. I capture videos and stuff, but I'm sure there's so much more I could learn that I have to learn.
The cell phone has come so far and has some of the best technology out there with regards to small cameras. So if you ever, back in the day, we used to have those little small digital pocket cameras, and the cell phone has taken over, and they've done a really good job. But it still requires you to have a good understanding as to what it can and cannot do. Some people want to try to get it to do everything, and a cell phone does have its limits.
Yeah.
But you can get a lot of really nice images using your cell phone. You gotta have the patience to want to learn it, and really try to understand and play.
Yeah.
Got to learn how to play with your cell phone in order to truly understand the camera components.
Because you're right. Sometimes people are skipping over getting that professional headshot because maybe they have the latest cell phone. But it's good that you offer training and you're helping us through that process, because I know that I haven't taken the proper time to just really learn how to get the best out of my cell phone.
Yeah, the cell phone really can. I don't think it'll ever replace a professional headshot. The cell phone, it's just not. That's not what it was intended to do. So if you really want a nice quality professional headshot, then get a pro to take your headshot. It's worth the investment. You'll get so much mileage out of those images that it's just worth investing. However, if you're in a pinch and you need to get some pictures of your team and you want to get them online, then providing you take the time to learn it and you truly have a decent camera in your cell phone. I mean, most of the newer ones have really nice cameras. I mean, there is an investment on the business owners or professional side. You got to invest in a nice cell phone, right?
Right.
But it can do a lot for you.
Do you do like your trainings on Zoom, or do you travel to different cities? I know you go to Indiana.
I can do both. I've done trainings on Zoom.
Okay.
And I've gone to locations. Like I worked with a contractor not that long ago, and he was wanting before and after pictures of his work. And he was like, I need someone to come out here and train me on how to take good before and after pictures. Because if you're a services minded business and that's what you do, having before and after pictures are the key to someone who's flipping through the website trying to see if they want you to remodel their kitchen.
Right.
They want to see before and after pictures, and people mess that up quite frequently. And the reason they do is because they don't even take the picture at the same location as they did on the before pictures on the afters. And so you really aren't comparing apples with apples. You're comparing apples with oranges.
Yeah.
You know, so trying to make sure that someone's truly doing themselves justice when taking those before and after pictures is important. So I go out and I train contractors on this is what I'd recommend. If you're into kitchen remodels, let me show you what height to put your camera. What equipment do you need? You know, you need a tripod.
Right. Oh,
you know?
wow. Yeah.
You know, because there's not everybody is steady.
That's
You know,
right.
not everybody can take a picture and it come out real sharp. And it's because some people kind of have the jitters.
Yeah. Man, you think of so many things. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
Well, like I said, I truly, truly enjoy helping professionals and small businesses. America's built on small businesses, and I love, you know, doing my part to help keep them in business. So if I can assist them in their marketing, you know, it's a win-win.
Yeah. And pictures are so important. And, you know, I'm so thankful that my mom, she loved pictures. And I'm so happy I have pictures from a child.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And up to now. And I love you can restore pictures. Do you do that? Do you get into restoring?
I do for myself, you know, as far as for our family, but I don't, that's not a business service that I offer.
Okay. Okay.
If people don't have a Google business listing, I highly recommend they do that. That's one of the best ways of being able to showcase your business online is through the Google My Business pages. And it does require photographs. So make sure that you have some nice ones and, you know, get it out there.
You recommend that we use the same photo, like on all our social media platforms, like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and LinkedIn, and all of the Snapchat? And
I recommend that you keep your imagery consistent across all platforms. And when you go to update, that you update across all platforms.
Okay.
Keep in mind, you don't have to update them all at the same time, but at some point it'd be nice to see them consistent because that's part of your marketing. When someone sees, you know, some people will even put like a border around their post, right? And so every time they see a red border, they know, oh, that's that business.
Yeah.
Without even having to look at the picture, they see a red border and they know that's a business they're following.
Yeah. So like branding and colors are really important.
Very important. Keep them consistent. Keep them consistent.
Okay. All right. As you're talking, I'm thinking like, oh, what do I have? I think I pretty much used the same headshot. Sometimes I like to change it up, but I think for the most part, and I wasn't sure, Kim, if
some people will tell you. So I have some people that'll come in and they'll order like a really fun, more casual picture, and that's what they'll use on like Instagram and Facebook. But on LinkedIn, they'll have more of a professional photograph, you know, maybe a suit, you know, a really nice blouse, something totally different. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that both of them represent you well.
Okay.
You know, and it depends on the individual. Some individuals are like, no, I want to be fun across,
that's
everything, yeah. Right? So it just really depends on what your brand is and the message you're trying to get across.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at something that said, okay, competence, you know, do you want to look successful? And so I'll ask you what you think of this. Or do you want to be look likable, like pleasant? Or do you want to look influential?
Okay.
Competence,
So
successful online? Do you want to look likable, pleasant, or do you want to look influential?
So I would say the most important thing about your headshot, you need to look approachable.
Oh, come on.
Approachable. So I know a gentleman who's a real estate agent, and his headshot is a photograph of him with his mouth wide open, laughing really hard. I mean, it's the craziest photograph, but people go to him because they know he's going to be fun to work with.
Yes.
And that is the headshot that works for him. He's tried a different headshot and it just didn't, it was more of a serious, professional headshot, and it just didn't work for him.
Yeah.
So he has,
it is something about those ones when you like
it. Yeah. So, I mean, so approachable, as long as it's a good, as far as the image itself, as long as it's a good image, I don't know that it matters as much.
Oh man.
I think it's all about approachability.
I love it.
When I take staff pictures, oftentimes I'll get, especially like I work with a large restoration company.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have a lot of serious contractors that come in and get their headshots when they get hired. And they're all looking firm and, all, I don't know, just way too serious. And so I just tell them, it's like, I can appreciate what you want, but as a business, it's my responsibility to get a picture that clients looking at your website, they're going to want to do business with you. And so you have to have an expression that allows people the opportunity to want and desire that. So it has to be an image that is approachable.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to combine my 3 words: that competence, likable, influential, and we're going to make it approachable.
Approachable.
I love it.
Approachable is the key to a good headshot. Does the person look approachable? And if they do, then people want to do business with them.
Yeah. How long does it take?
Yeah. So typically within a week, you have all your digital images that you've selected, and you get to see them instantly with regards, they're unedited, but as I'm taking them, we're looking, because if I didn't offer that service, we're back to the ancient days of us just getting a picture and like, oh, I love it, or oh, I wish I would have done this, right? Well, now, as we take the pictures, we go and we look at them and we're like, okay, yeah, well, and you might say, oh, I should have done something with my hair. So, well, let's do something with your hair. We're going to go back up and we're going to do it till we get something you're really, really happy with.
Oh, wow.
That's always the objective.
That's awesome. Remember back when you had to wait?
Oh, I know. But instant gratification. We're going to take pictures. We're going to find something that you really like. And, I'll help guide you, but I won't make those decisions. You'll make those decisions. But they're very obvious.
Yeah, you would come back and the hand is in the face. And boy, I never forget having to wait to get those pictures.
No, not nowadays. Nowadays, you get to see them right away. You choose your images before you leave the studio. And then I email them to you, a Dropbox file, and then you download them from there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then, so no more, you don't have to hang them in your studio and wait for them to dry.
That was a long time ago.
Am I dating myself?
Well, but I remember it too. So, we're both dating ourselves here.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. So how can we get in touch with you?
You can find me online at oliverscapturedmoments.com. You can call or text 916-752-9672. And that's pretty much how you get a hold of me.
All right. So is there anything that you would like to leave with people before we wrap?
No, just if you feel like you need to get some updated pictures and you're wanting to if you just want some recommendations on what it is you need, or some tips on how to use your camera, your cell phone, or if you need a new headshot, any of those, I'd be more than glad to help you with. Just reach out, let me know how I can assist. And if I can't assist you, let's say that you're really wanting a video about your business. That's not something I do, but I work with professionals who do. And so I can recommend you to someone else. So yeah, reach out. If it has something to do with visual marketing, I'm sure I have a contact that can help you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Absolutely. Glad I could hopefully provide some insight. And if people need any assistance that I can give them a little guidance, then have them reach out. I would love the opportunity.
Yes.